into the match preview. It is Tottenham against Newcastle. It's going to be a very, very difficult game. If it was going to be difficult when we were thinking about it last week, it's going to be ever more so difficult now. Newcastle flying at the moment. Spurs just can't seem to get any kind of results. I mean, we beat Southampton, and that was, I think we've had 2 wins. Southampton and Man City. Those are the last 2 wins, right? In the last 2 months.
Well, we beat United in the cup.
Yeah, I'm talking about league.
Yeah.
But 2 wins in our last 2 months, and a squad decimated at the moment, and now an illness running through the camp. It is. I've never seen it so bad. I've seen some bad situations. I've never seen it so bad. You're talking about, on top of the players that we have injured, you've got a sickness run through the camp. I've heard, Fraser Forster, Dragoshin, Gray, Maddison, all been suffering with this sickness. I have no idea what kind of team that we're going to see. It's just like, who knows?
Dorrington, Austin.
And even if it is Dorrington and Austin, right? Who's gonna partner Dorrington?
Don't know. I honestly don't know at this point in time. Look, we don't know who's been ruled out or not. We just know who's we've been told who's been suffering with illness, and doesn't mean they're not going to play, but it also doesn't mean we know what kind of condition they're going to be in if they are given some pills to get through this illness or get through the symptoms and try and get them on the pitch. Doesn't mean that they're going to be able to put in a good performance. That's another question. They've been dehydrated apparently for a lot of this week. Suggestions, some have had to seek a lot of medical assistance during their time being ill. It's a really, really bad time, and on top of the injury crisis, it's incredible how much the squad is kind of put on them, and how much how much at the moment it's like they're bending, and it's only a matter of time before it breaks. At the moment,
it's broken. Never mind breaks. It's broken. It's been broken, and now it's just like shattered. It's just a crazy situation. I've never seen anything like it. You look at Arsenal against Brentford a couple of days ago. There was a sickness running through that camp, and a few players had to pull out. I think Kai Havertz was one of the ones that had to pull out. Declan Rice was struggling. He was on the bench, ended up coming on. But we just don't have time for it. We don't have players to consider an illness running through the camp. We just don't.
The club shared training photos videos yesterday. Where was the illness come from? Yeah, I haven't looked at the training fixtures and see who's been training or not.
There were pictures of Maddison in training yesterday. He put them up on social media.
So maybe he came back to training yesterday.
Yeah, we just don't know. Ange kind of just played it down and said, yeah, there's a bit of a sickness running through the camp, but we'll be all right.
We're going to be all right in the long term. Obviously, the sickness isn't going to be here for months, I assume, but in the short term, we've got a Carabao Cup semi-final coming up this week. We've got, obviously, a massive game against Newcastle, who are flying at the moment. It's extremely worrying how to think about how we're going to get through these games. It's nigh on impossible to think that we somehow will cobble together a performance with the players available to do it. It's going to be extremely, extremely difficult. If those players who are ill are out, then honestly, you're looking at probably Basuma partnering Dorrington or Austin in goal, probably Bergvall but in the 6. It's crazy. It's crazy. The situation that we're in, and coupled with Newcastle, they're just beating teams left, right, and centre. Isaac's in the form of his life at the moment. They've really got the chemistry going with that midfield 3 now with Joelinton, Guimaraes, and Tonali, and they're looking like a real a real prospect. That midfield 3, intimidating
force,
prospect,
mate.
A real force,
absolute force
against anyone. I think at this point. Even the best, I think, though, that midfield 3 is playing as good as any midfield 3 in the league at the moment.
They battered you. They've in their last 3 games, they've scored 4 against Ipswich, 3 against Villa, 2 against Manchester United. Haven't conceded any. If you look at these stats, I think they've actually won their last 5 games. So, last 5 games they've won. They've only conceded 1 goal
I think
in
maybe
that
a
time.
Cup game in there, is there?
Maybe, but I don't think so. Who did they play in the quarterfinal of the Cup? Oh, so yeah, Cup game in there as well. But still, they're still battering teams. Every team that they come up against at the moment, their defence seems to be on it. Sven Botman is available for selection as well, who hasn't been available pretty much all season.
It's mad to think that Newcastle, beginning of December, they were below Spurs at the beginning of December. They were in like 12th or 13th. They were having a really inconsistent season. They struggled to really find consistent results. Isaac wasn't scoring with any regularity, and all of a sudden, they've got it. I don't know whether it's players coming back or what it is, but they've really clicked in the past month. We know Eddie Howe, Newcastle under Eddie Howe. They've always been a good team. I know last season they had their struggles with the injuries, but they've obviously, we know at their best, they're a very good team. And they've always got the capabilities of, when they've got everyone fit, to put it together like a really strong showing, especially at midfield three, so strong and athletic. And they've got that at the moment, and they're showing that they can get some consistent results. And all it took 4 wins, and all of a sudden they took themselves from 12th to 5th, and right in the conversation of they're not even far off second now. They're like 5 points off second with 4. Just all it took was 4 wins. That's how close this Premier League is. It's crazy. And look, credit to Eddie Howe for turning it around. But it's we're not talking about 10 wins in a row here. We're talking about 5 wins, and all of a sudden they've shot up the league.
Yeah. I'm just trying to look at what their actual record is. I can't get it up, but I think they've at the beginning of the season as well, because I remember saying that they were winning games, but they weren't playing too well, but they were getting away with it quite well. So I mean, they won quite a few games at the start of the season as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
What's their wins loss draw ratio?
9-5-5.
9-5-5.
9 wins, 5 draws, 5 losses.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty good. Well, I guess before that they were on probably like 5-5-5.
I'm saying before these 4 wins, it was 5-5-5, which is obviously not great. And then it's average, and now they've shot up the league with these 4 wins, which is, look, credit to them, and they're playing very well. It's not like these are lucky wins. They're absolutely destroying teams, and fair play to them. And they're now getting Botman back, as you say. They've really turned it around, and they're absolutely intimidating prospect for any team right now. I think literally, they got a draw even against Liverpool, didn't they, not so long ago, and what was a really good performance, albeit they could have easily lost that game, but they turned that around, and it was brilliant. They beat Arsenal. I'm saying any team in the league they face right at the moment, they're putting in a really good performance, and they're winning games. So look, it's going to be very difficult for Tottenham
would have been very difficult for us if we had a fully fit squad. Never mind.
Fully fit squad and at our best, it would have been very difficult.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. So, look, it is a bit of a worrying prospect coming into this game this weekend. But if you look at the head-to-head between Spurs and Newcastle, it doesn't make for good reading either. Taking a few batterings in there, albeit we did batter them the last time that they came down to Tottenham last year. I mean, Sonny just absolutely terrorised Trippier that day, didn't he?
Yeah.
But apart from that,
and Rishi got a double.
We've lost 4 out of the last 5 games.
Yeah, obviously, I thought the game at the beginning of the season, when we played them at St James's, we probably should have gotten something out of
Best
the game.
performance at St James's for a while.
Yeah, well, I thought we dominated. We should have gotten something out of the game, and we didn't. We ended up losing, and we had to learn that lesson. But I thought definitely the best performance we've had up there for a long time, where we usually get battered. Well, last season, famous for Van de Ven slipping and just, it was 2 goals in 2 minutes. Season before that, 5-0 down in 20 minutes. One of up there in top 5 most disastrous displays in our Premier League history. Probably that 6-1 at Newcastle. So we've had some
5-0 after 20 minutes?
5-0, 20 minutes. It was absolute. That was disaster. I think that was 1 game or 2 games after Conte left.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is at home.
I am Christian Stellini. I am the manager of Tottenham.
And it wasn't for long. I think after 20 minutes, he'd lost his job. So we haven't got a great record against them. And it's gonna be very difficult. I know we're at home. So look, even though we've got all these problems, I'm sure we'll probably, create some chances and stuff. But that I just can't see us having control of this game. It's going to be too difficult.
It's a real big shame because, I know you're probably going to laugh at what I'm about to say, but I was actually feeling a lot more positive coming into this game than I have done over the past couple of weeks, just because it's the first time in ages that we've had a week to prepare for a game where you're not coming into this game absolutely shattered. The players are going to have a week on the training ground, a week to, not playing 3 games a week, not being absolutely shattered, a bit of rest in the legs. And then this sickness comes through and just hits us for 6. So, yeah, it's going to be really difficult to just maneuver ourselves through this game. Who knows what kind of team are going to be playing? And even if the players that have been sick do play, none of them have been training this week. So what kind of condition are they coming into the game in?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say to that. It's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very, very difficult tomorrow. I'm trying to think of ways we could get some sort of advantage. The only thing I can think of in terms of the forward line, we know how Son had a good game against Trippier last year, albeit I think Trippier was in a bad moment. I don't think he's in such a bad moment at the right now. He might not
even play. Hall in Livramento.
Yeah, it might be. Well, Trippier played last game, but Trippier went off injured as well, so Livramento might play. Obviously, Botman's back, but maybe he's not 100%. It's going to be his first game back from injury because I think Fabian Schär's suspended. Obviously, Dubravka's probably going to play because Pope's been injured, so he's going to be in goal. Lewis Hall is a good left back going forward. Is he a bit weak defensively? Can he be got out defensively? Those are things you can maybe look at, but Isaac's going to be absolutely licking his lips, isn't he? Gordon as well, probably going to think about that defense.
Jacob Murphy's going to be licking his lips.
Murphy. It's I think that midfield three as well. I don't know what kind of midfield we're going to be playing. Obviously, if Maddison's not playing, maybe a Decky in the middle with...
I assume Maddison will play. He was training yesterday.
Maybe Decky with Sarr and Bergvall, if Basuma has to play centre-back, or might be Basuma. I'm up against that very athletic and strong and confident middle three of Newcastle. You're relying on Decky to somehow, I think, Decky start... I think when they're all three at their best, I'm not saying they can go toe-to-toe, but they can definitely compete with them. We've seen that before in previous games, but it's just right now, the way we are, it's going to be very difficult to wrestle control out that midfield, who I think come into this game in super confident mood. I think their backline can be got at, although, as you've shown in the stats, defensively, they're on very good form, 2 goals conceded in the past 5 games, so... They've maybe found a formula which seems to be working at the moment for them defensively. But I do think, overall, I don't think they're impenetrable defensively. But, we're far from that as well at the moment. So I just can't see us scoring more goals than them tomorrow. I just can't see a situation where we do that.
Yeah. And you look at the league table, right? And a loss this weekend, Crystal Palace... could make some serious headway on us. We're currently on 24 points, Palace on 20 points. So, Palace in 15th. If they win, then suddenly we are really sliding down that league in terms of, teams from 15th, 16th, 17th. Wolves are on good form at the moment. Everton, I know they lost their last game, but they are picking up points here and there. Crystal Palace have turned it around since their early season horror show. So you're looking at these teams and they're really starting to creep up on us.
Yeah, but what can we do about it? It's nothing. We can't, we can't stop players getting ill. We can't get players back from injury. There's not much we can do right now. We've got tough games coming up. We just got to go with what we've got. I'm not sure. Ange doesn't have some magic card that he can turn Dorrington into Van de Ven. He's got what he's got, and he's got to try and deal with it. And he's playing, teams like Newcastle and Liverpool in the Carabao Cup, and every team right now is good right now in the Premier League. It seems every team is. Got possibilities. Look, you even see last week, Ipswich beating Chelsea. Every team has possibility of picking up points against anyone right now, it seems. And when you've got a drop off like us right now with the injuries and especially with illness now, I don't know what. I think we might again. We might be sliding down even more, but hopefully it's only a temporary situation until we get players back or maybe signings or whatever. But right now, I can't sit here and say it's going to get much better. But I don't think losing tomorrow we should be sacking Ange if we lose tomorrow, because what's he supposed to do right now? I don't really blame him. It's like, what's he supposed to do tomorrow with all these problems? He can't. What can he change?
Yeah, it's true. And I wasn't saying slipping down the table as a stick to beat Ange with, but it is reality. If these injuries, we're saying these injuries are not letting up till the end of January at least, right? We might have to get Richarlison and Mikey Moore back until then, but realistically, the defensive woes are not going to...
he said it's back in a Jan,
yeah. So in that time, we play a cup semi-final against Liverpool, Newcastle, Tamworth in the cup, Arsenal, Everton away, Hoffenheim, and then maybe they'll be back for Leicester at home and Elfsborg at home. I mean, it's going to be incredibly difficult to pick up anything in any of. I mean, Tamworth, we should be. We should. But
we need signings, man.
In any other of those games, like, can you see us picking up points in Newcastle, Arsenal, or Everton? Because I can't.
Not right now. No, I can't.
And that means 3 losses, which I dread to think where we're going to be in the league table after these 3 games.
Yeah, but I think once we get players back, we'll start to pick up wins again. But at the moment,
The thing is, once we get players back, we need to be on a proper, consistent run of form to really push ourselves back up to any sort of respectable place in the table. And I just can't see us doing that.
Well, look, this has completely derailed our season at this point. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, it has, especially in the league anyway. We've still got opportunities in the cups, for sure. Europa League is still there. We're still, got a good chance of finishing the top 8. We're still there in the League Cup. Maybe
Hoffenheim just signed Gift Orban.
Oh, so he's going to score a hat-trick. Look, maybe by the second leg at Anfield, we'll have our players back. So maybe we can keep the score respectable in the first leg. You can try and do something at Anfield.
Can't even see that.
Look, we have to, you've got to try and look for opportunities. The FA Cup is still there. And as if we can, at the moment, you just got to try and finish in that top half, I think, at this point, because...
Is that where we're at now?
Well, with the situation we're in, I don't see it turning around until February, to be honest, unless we get some serious business done in this month and quickly. I don't see how the situation turns with the fixtures we have. So I think at this point, the league is going to be very difficult to get anything more than, a top 10 finish. What I can see, if the current situation continues, unless we have a mad run between February and May, I think at the moment, you have to try and just go for the cups when our players get back. And I do believe we can do something in the cups, because we have, hopefully, by the time the cups really get going, we'll have our players back. Maybe we'll have some signings through the door. Hopefully the whole situation will have settled down by then. But right now, I'm just, it's a very difficult situation, and I don't know how we maneuver it, to be honest. I don't know. I think any club with the situation we're going through is going to find it very difficult to maneuver through this situation. Especially, we're also on top of that, we're a very young team. Ange is only 18 months in the job, but even when we're fully fit, we're not fully settled yet. We're not fully a consistent team at that point as well. So, we've still got a lot of learning to do. We're not this perfect team that, if, for example, like Arsenal or I mean, I would say City, but obviously they're not the great example at the moment, but like Arsenal could, if they have these problems, they could rely on the fact that they've been in a process for 4 years and they can hang on, that they know what they're doing even with a lot of these problems. But right now, we're still very young in our project, so even on the back of that, it's still very difficult, even with our players back. So I don't know. I think the next few weeks is going to be even more painful, but I don't know how we turn it around. I don't know what we do to turn it around right now. I don't know how we can do it.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. I'm just lost with this. I mean, the season in the league looks pretty much over. And yeah, I guess we just got to wait until we get players back and see how we can salvage anything in the cups. But, hopefully we'll still be in the Europa League, whether it be, outside the top 8 or inside the top 8, we'll still be in it, which is a positive thing. And the FA Cup,
if you offered me right now, I'll just lose all the January games in the Prem, but getting that top 8 in Europa, I'd probably take it at this point, because even that's up in the air. If we got a cobbled together team for like those games, we need to get probably 4 points out of those 2 Europa games. And if we can get ourselves in that top 8, which means no more Europa, I think, till March, and then by that point you really hope we've got some players back, then you just put all your eggs in the Europa basket, and then you can still have a good season. But right now, I don't know it's hard enough with a fully fit team to be consistently winning games in the Prem, but with the situation we're in, I don't even know how I can expect the team to do it. I just don't know how.
Yeah. It's at this point in the preview I usually ask you for a prediction.
I said before 3-2, but with these problems now with illness and all that, probably
I was about to say, I don't know if you want to give a prediction, because I think it could get really ugly.
I think
tomorrow.
Maybe like a 4-1 Newcastle or something.
I think it could even be more. I don't even want to give a prediction for tomorrow. I really don't.
Having said that, if we somehow get a result, the team will deserve a lot of credit if we do.
If we keep it respectable and down to only a 1 or 2 goals in it, probably the team deserve a lot of credit. That's the reality. That's where we're at the moment.
Yeah.
So anyway, that is our match preview.